Afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this technical assistance workshop introducing the Delta Workforce Program grant funding opportunity announcement, which we like to shorten to FOA, F-O-A, FOA. While the online portal is open and accepting applications, it is important for us to let you know that DRA is here to support your workforce development efforts. Today, we'll cover the major elements of the FOA for the 5th round of this grant program. And for those that don't know me, my name is C. Talantis, Director of Human Infrastructure at DRA. And as y'all know, in today's world, a trained workforce is the backbone of innovation and economic growth. Skilled and knowledgeable employees drive productivity, adapt to rapidly changing industries, and contribute to a company's competitive edge. DRA's DWP grant program plays a pivotal role in empowering organizations to invest in training and development, ensuring they can access the skilled workforce necessary to thrive in the modern dynamic economy. So, and as y'all have questions today, please feel free to enter those in the Q&A, and we will try to get to as many of those as we can. But now it is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Chayton Pendley, DRA's Workforce Program Analyst. So Chayton, I will turn it over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to begin going over our presentation. I'm going to get my video turned on. My video will not turn on, so we're going to go straight into the presentation. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. That pulled up. So this we'll be going over the funding opportunity announcement. Today, I will be touching on some of the highlights of that and going over some of the requirements that will be necessary for your application. But with that, we can begin. So as C said, my name is Chayton Pendley. I am the Workforce Program Analyst here at the Delta Regional Authority. I am originally from I'm from Owensboro, Kentucky. I worked at the Green River Area Development District for about 2 years, so I'm familiar with this line of work, but I'm very excited to be working with DRA now and working with the workforce program and working with all of our new applicants and existing grantees. So getting right into the overview of the funding opportunity announcement. The award ceiling for this, the maximum amount that you can request is $450,000. The award floor, or the minimum amount that you can request, is $50,000. As far as technical assistance goes, that is what the workforce program team, myself and C, will take care of, is a pre-award technical assistance workshop, which we are currently in. If you all ever need to have one-on-one meetings, discuss, potential projects, anything else going on, then you can contact C or myself to set up a one-on-one meeting during our virtual office hours. And then after the pre-award, everything is submitted. If you are accepted and your project moves forward, we will offer post-award technical assistance, where we will have a similar workshop and then offer up those one-on-one virtual meetings and be happy to answer any questions that you all may have. So for the applications must be submitted via the online portal no later than Thursday, December 21st, 2023 at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. The link to that is on our dra.communityforce.com portal. As some of you are aware, we had our old portal. We have now transitioned to a new portal. Ms. Jasmine Bell with InCloud will be giving a more in-depth presentation on that later in this seminar. But we will not accept any hard copy or email submissions. All of those must be made through the online portal. And the anticipated start date for this program will be April or May of 2024. So our program purpose, put simply, is that the Delta Workforce Program focuses on directing government funding to areas along the Mississippi River Delta and in the Alabama Black Belt regions. As you know, these regions have been severely affected by the shrinking of industries, businesses closing, and people losing their jobs. This program is designed to support projects that develop or enhance cross-sector partnerships. And those cross-sector partnerships are collaborations between different organizations or sectors, such as government, businesses, nonprofits, and education, to work together on initiatives aimed at improving employment opportunities in the workforce in each area. Deliver specific workforce services and meeting identified local or regional needs, create or expand workforce training programs addressing high quality employment opportunities, and support the delivery of quality, innovative training and workforce services. So for DRA as a whole, we have a list of strategic investment goals. Applications must address one or more of these goals. They must invest in public infrastructure, nurture local workforce ecosystems, promote business growth and entrepreneurship, and support community placemaking and capacity building. And these program goals are pulled directly from our Regional Development Plan, or the RDP 4. And for the workforce program, we are mainly going to be focusing on the second point, the nurture local workforce ecosystems, but promote business growth and entrepreneurship and support community placemaking and capacity building have may be included, but we're mainly looking at the nurture local workforce ecosystems. So for our program, the Delta Workforce Program, our investment priorities are supporting industry-led workforce training, building collaborative talent pipelines, supporting or enhancing industry clusters, and accelerating local or regional economic development. So your applications need to address one of these four or all of these four investment priorities. In the following slides I'm going to go over will give actual Delta Workforce Program grantee examples in each of these areas. So our first example, supporting industry-led workforce training. We have a DWP 2019 project example from Black River Technical College. They had a CDL program that they use these funds on. So their objectives were to hire a CDL driving instructor, which they accomplished. The instructor was hired in 2019. They also needed to develop a CDL curriculum, and this curriculum was developed also in 2019, but then they also had a problem. They needed a truck to train their new CDL students. So they were able to purchase a used tractor trailer or a tractor truck, and this was delivered to them in May of 2020. And this is a picture of that truck that they used. But they were able to begin their first classes in June of 2020 for this program. And then this is some of the students that graduated with their CDL, and here in the bottom left is the instructor that trained all their students with their truck. Forward. Our second investment priority is building collaborative talent pipelines. This example comes from our 2021 cycle from the Tennessee College of Applied Technology out of Covington. It was their electric vehicle technology program. So TCAT Covington with Tipton County received this grant to add the emerging career pathway of electric vehicle technology to their program offerings. This program introduced training for upcoming jobs in a new technology, as electric vehicles are entering the market on an increasingly larger scale. A highly skilled workforce will be needed to maintain them. TCAT used the grant funds to purchase equipment for their new programs. And then here are some images of their grant, or of their students learning the program and working on using some of the equipment to learn. Our third investment priority is supporting or enhancing industry clusters. This example comes from the 2020 cycle out of Missouri State University, West Plains, and this program was training individuals for careers in manufacturing. So their grant provided needed equipment for advanced training in robotics. The program trained 50 to 75 unique participants, including dislocated workers, new entrants in the workforce, incumbent workers, and underrepresented groups. And this image I think is very interesting. It is this student is using a virtual reality simulator to learn welding. I just thought that was a really cool piece of technology, and we want to include that in the slideshow. And then this next image is the students that were learning that program. We did not get to include the robotics that they were using in the presentation, but they did have many robotics arms and different welders as well. So our fourth investment priority is accelerating local or regional economic development. This example comes from our 2021 cycle from the Arkansas Rural Health Partnership. This program was boosting Delta nurse numbers through training, recruitment, and retention by Partners for Delta Resident Care. So this project coordinated efforts between the Arkansas Rural Health Partnership, 11 nursing schools, 13 rural hospitals, 2 federally qualified health centers, and an economic development agency to launch the first regional nursing clinical collaborative. Efforts that they made increase the number of Delta nurses trained, recruited, and retained by Partners to serve Delta residents. So those were our 4 investment priorities. Now we're moving forward to our period of performance. So with your project, you may determine the time period for your set project. However, the period of performance shall not exceed 24 months. The period of performance will begin once the notice to proceed is received, and this period includes all necessary implementation and startup activities. Eligible participants for this program are these 3: new entrants to the workforce, dislocated workers, and incumbent workers. New entrants to the workforce are this refers to those who have never worked before or who have been out of the workforce for a long enough time to make it as if they are entering the workforce for the first time. For example, this may include, but is not limited to, the long-term unemployed and formerly incarcerated individuals. Dislocated workers, this term refers to individuals who were terminated or laid off, or who have received a notice of termination or layoff from employment, or who were self-employed but are now unemployed. Incumbent workers are individuals who are employed but need employment and training services to secure full-time employment, advance in their careers, or retain their current occupations. This includes workers who are paid low and medium wages, who would benefit from upgrading their skills to retain employment or advance in their careers, and workers who are currently working part-time. Within these categories, applicants may serve a wide range of individuals, including high school or post-secondary students, individuals requiring adult basic and other education programs, individuals with disabilities, veterans, individuals with limited English proficiency, and individuals impacted by a substance use disorder. Applicants are encouraged to conduct outreach among people and communities who have historically experienced systemic and programmatic inequities in employment and economic outcomes, including but not limited to people of color, immigrants and refugees, individuals with disabilities, individuals who were formerly incarcerated, and lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer individuals. For eligible activities, this is a list of the eligible activities that can be used during this or through this program. That is training and work-based learning models, other employment-related activities, innovative service delivery strategies, participant support services, employer support services, and purchasing equipment and making renovations. And rather than reading from the FOA for all of these, I want everyone to refer to pages 10 to 13 of the FOA. But there are a couple things to note. Last year, we had a cap of 30% of the total project budget for participant support services. The 2024 FOA has removed that cap. Also, while renovations to existing buildings are eligible activities, just a reminder that new construction and property purchases are not allowed under this grant. So with this program, there is a cost share and you have to provide a match. So applicants must demonstrate a 10% cost share, that is cash or in-kind, match at minimum by non-DRA sources. Allowable funding sources are private, non-federal, other federal, or a combination of sources, and some federal entities have specific funding limitations on federal dollars. For applicants that are located in or serving distressed counties or parishes, you do not need to demonstrate a match of any kind. To learn more, if you are located in or serving a distressed county or parish, please visit our map room. It is on our DRA website to see that list of those counties and parishes. So for your project team, the team that is putting together your application and working on this grant, it is not a requirement for all members of a project team to be located within the DRA region. However, one must be located within the region. Projects must provide benefits to the community served within the DRA region, and any eligible member of a project team may serve as the applicant. So application requirements. Applicants must demonstrate collaboration/engagement with at least one employer/industry partner. And what do we mean by employer partner? Where are your program participants going to get jobs after their training? Those are your employer partners, and the more you have, the better it is. Applicants must demonstrate that they are serving eligible participants who live and work in the DRA region. Some additional requirements. Applicants may train for jobs outside the DRE region, but must clearly demonstrate successful employment, will not require relocation outside of the DRA region. This program is about training and providing new skills to individuals for our workforce in the Delta region. So we don't want to train them and then have them move outside of our region. Applicants must demonstrate evidence of high growth industries and a demand for skilled workers local or regionally. So through our application, I'm going to go over the scoring criteria. These are the main uh, sections for points. We have 5 of them. The project information, you will receive a maximum of 60 points. Anticipated project outcomes, a maximum of 6 points. Work plan, a maximum of 16 points. Evidence of local demand/employer letters, a maximum of 15 points, and funding information, a maximum of 3 points. And I'm now going to go over all those sections. So for project information, you need to have a project description, a project rationale, project team and relevant experience, and then the local and regional collaboration. So for your project description, you can receive a maximum of 25 points, and is broken up into 3 areas of points. You must have a description of your project service area and the community needs, the project design, and then the demonstration of inclusion in persistent poverty county or parish. For your project rationale, you can receive a maximum of 25 points, and it is broken up into 4 sections for points. You must have a description of the workforce needs. You must align with DRA's strategic investment goals, those 4 that I went over earlier. Alignment with the DWP investment priorities, objectives, and funding principles, and alignment with local workforce or economic development priorities. Your project team and relevant experience. you need, and then your local and regional collaboration, you must demonstrate, or you must have a demonstration of local and regional partnerships that receives 3 points, and then demonstration of partnerships with HBCUs and or federally recognized tribes. The anticipated project outcomes, you must have a demonstration of realistic and attainable outcomes and a demonstration of specific and relevant outcomes. So reporting these anticipated outcomes. Anticipated project outcomes at a minimum must include the number of jobs retained, the number of jobs created, the number of individuals trained, and the number of communities served. So for your work plan, you can receive a maximum of 16 points. Your work plan needs to include any project deliverables and your project timeline. And then under the evidence of workforce demand / employer needs and letters, you can receive a maximum of 15 points. So you must have a demonstration of the workforce demand from your local and regional employers and an evidence of employer engagement. So for your funding information and your budget and budget narrative alignment, this is where you will put into detail all of the different the line items that you will need in your budget, along with the justification for those. And then your funding information, you will list any matching sources and where those come from and a verification of those. So with the application, there are attachments that will be requested. One of those will be your employer letters, the verification of matching funds, key staff resumes, and job descriptions. And those key staff resumes and job descriptions will be for members of your project team. The employer letters will be from employer partners, just showing that you have been in contact with them, that you have developed a partnership with them, and that you're not just putting their name on the application, but that you do have an existing relationship with them. So the application portal, like I said before, we will be going over this in more detail, but these applications will be pre-screened to determine eligibility and completeness, and you will be notified during the process of request or explanations needed to clarify questions that DRA may have concerning your application. Ensure that the contact person on the application has a current information or has their current information and can make the necessary changes to the application. Make sure that all parts of your application are complete and that all your responses are placed in these specific sections for that response. And then before submitting an application or proposal, please print out a copy of your complete application for your records to have another area just in case there's an issue with submittal, and just to make sure that we have another safeguard to keep that application. So reviewing your application. Applications will be pre-screened to determine eligibility and completeness. Applications are reviewed by panel and scored individually against the elements in the FOA Section F. And the total number of grants that will be awarded will depend upon the number of competitive applications and the amounts requested. With that, any questions? I see a few in the Q&A. Yes, I will share a copy of the presentation with everyone. And then
Hey, Chayton, likely we will post that on our website.
yes.
The slides and a recording of this presentation. Also, I see a question, let's see, towards the beginning here. Can you please explain the difference between DWP and CDAP grants? So our Delta Workforce Program, grant program is the one that we're talking about today. We call it DWP, and we're in our fifth round of grants for under DWP. We've got this time approximately 10 million to award in grants. And, obviously these are, workforce projects, and, Chayton just kind of went over the FOA in great detail. Now CDAP grants are on the critical infrastructure side. And so if you go to dra.gov and you go to critical infrastructure, you can read all about the CDAP grants. And I believe that the grant cycle for CDAP is coming up, and that grant application cycle will open, I believe, in the spring. But yeah, so you've got one on the human infrastructure side with workforce, and then CDAP on the critical infrastructure side. So please refer to dra.gov for more information on that. Any other questions, please put in the Q&A and we can go over those. But let's go ahead and let Jasmine Bell with nCloud Technologies present on the application portal. And Jasmine, you should be able to share your screen hopefully with no problem.
Yes, give me just a second. I will pull it up.
Great.
Okay, can everyone see my screen?
I can see it.
Awesome, awesome. So as C was saying, my name is Jasmine Bell. I'm with nCloud Technologies, and we are just kind of responsible for bringing all of the application portals together in one system to kind of streamline the process for all of the applicants for all of the grants, so that everything's in one place, all of your forms are in one place, all of your applications and your history are in one place, to just kind of make the process easier for everyone. So when you go to the portal link, which Chayton gave you, it's dra.communityforce.com. Or if you are used to the funding.dra.gov, that link will also point you to this grant portal as well. So it'll redirect you here. Before we log in and kind of look at the applicant experience, there's a couple of things that we'll go over. Very first thing, right now we are working feverishly to get everybody's prior information to this new grant system. So if you've applied before, at any point in the last 5 or 6 years, your information will imported, so that you have access to those prior applications. If you have applied for a DRA grant within the last 5 years, whether it's for DWP or if you've applied for CDAP or any of those things, if you've applied in the last 5 years from 2018 forward, the only thing that you will need to do is reset your password once all of the information gets imported. We will be sending out a notification to all prior applicants once their information has been integrated into the new system. So once we get all of that information imported and we verify with staff that everything is accurate and correct, we'll send out a notification to everyone letting you know that the portal's ready for you to view your prior information. Again, if you have completed an application in the last 5 years, all you'll need to do is use the forgot password and you can reset your password and all of your information will be there. If you are brand new, have not ever applied for a grant with DRA, or if you applied prior to 2018, you will need to create a new account, and you'll just hit the create new account button here. You'll put in some basic information, the name of your organization, first and last name, cell phone. Your login ID will be your email. You'll set your password, verify that you're a robot, and then hit submit, and you will have your new account. That's all the information that you have to enter. One more thing down here, under the need help button, there's an applicant user guide that can show you through the entire process of creating your account, what the new application process looks like, and everything that you need to know for the brand new portal. So you can just click on that link and it'll open a guide for you to look at, download, and have with you through that process. So once you have created your account, or if you are returning and you are starting a new account, I'm sorry, if you're returning and logging in with your previous information, you will put in your email and your password, and it'll take you to this login screen. Now, to view all of the open applications, you'll come over here to the bottom right and click View All Grants. Again, there's some instructions here to view all of the available grant programs. Just click the View All Grants here, and then it will show you every grant that is currently available in the application portal. If you have started an application and you are coming back to continue the application, this button here will say continue with application. If it's a grant that is open for you to apply, but you have not started that application, it will say apply. If it is a grant that is visible, but it is not open yet for applicants, you will only be able to view details. You will not be able to apply until that application cycle opens. So what we will do is we will go to our demo application. So what's going to happen is as soon as you start the application, there'll be some instructions. The first thing that you will need to do, and so this is going to say critical infrastructure pre-qualification. Don't mind that. If you're applying for DWP, it'll say DWP. This is just for the purposes of the demo. So the first thing that you will need to do is fill out the pre-qualification questions. Every application, regardless of what program it is, will have some pre-qualification things just to make sure that you are in the right place applying for the right thing. So you will click on the section. And I've already kind of pre-filled some of this stuff out. So it'll just ask if your project actually takes place within the DRA footprint, because sometimes you may think you're in the DRA footprint, but you're actually just outside of it, or your county's not part of it. Here you can click on the link to the map room just to verify that the area that you're trying to do the project in is actually within the DRA footprint. You will enter your UEI number. And then you will provide verification that your UEI number is actually active for projects. The only verification that we ask for is that you go to sam.gov/status tracker, and you can enter your UEI number there. It'll show that you're active, or if you're not active, you'll screenshot it and then upload that picture there. That's all the verification that that we need. Here you will choose your organization type. These are the organization types that are listed in the FOA to just show that you have an acceptable, eligible organization. Depending on the type of organization that you choose, you may be asked to provide additional information. For instance, if I click on nonprofit organization, there's a little pop-up that asks for you to provide your articles of incorporation or your most recent 990 form. So depending on the type of organization that you are, it may ask for additional information just to verify that your organization is on the up and up. So then you'll hit save and return to dashboard. After that, you will be required to acknowledge that you have read the FOA. So it will have the FOA in its entirety in the application portal, and a nice message in red here. Please affirm at the bottom of this page that you have read it in its entirety. Now for DWP, it won't say notice of funding availability. It will say funding opportunity availability. Same difference. You'll read through this entire document, and at the very bottom, you will affirm that you have read it. All of the information, or at least 90% of the information, or 90% of the questions that you may have about DWP can probably be answered by reading this document, as Chayden went through so beautifully before this. So once you affirm that you've read it, you're going to hit save and return to dashboard. After that, the remainder of your application will populate. So you will not be able to complete an application or to even view the application in its entirety until after you finish your pre-qualification and after you've read the FOA. Just to make sure that there is no confusion about what grant you are applying for, if you're eligible, and that you have read all of the information pertaining to that grant. I'm going to go through a couple of things before we get to the actual application itself. So again, if you need any help filling it out or anything like that, you can click on this little quick guide here. There's a link. It'll open, let you know how to do anything that you need to do as far as completing the application. So we double linked that guide there for you, just for your ease and for your convenience. So from this point, once you have populated the entire application, and so the sections that you see here are not representative of everything that will be on your application, because again, this is a demo and the application is quite extensive. So I don't want to take up, your entire afternoon. So once you have populated the entire application, you can actually hit this preview button and it will give you a PDF of the application in its entirety. Just for some people that may be old school, you want to print it out, fill out the questions on there, and then come into the portal and do it. That's totally fine. Or if you are filling it out in a team and you want to be able to collaborate just on pen and paper because it's easier, you can download the PDF here, print it, and there will be that will be there for your convenience. So we're gonna go back to the application itself. Hold on. There we go. Additionally, before we do the application, there's another function here called add a collaborator. So if you are the project admin or anything like that, and you are filling out the application, but you need someone else in your organization to assist with, maybe, somebody from the financial department needs to do the budget, or, anything like that, you can hit this add collaborator button here and you can add a collaborator. Now, if they are already in the system, you should be able to just search for them and they will come up. If they are not in the system already, so if they're in the system, they'll pop up in the search results here and you can just add them. If they are not already in the system, you can hit this add user button right here, and then you can enter their information, include them in communication, and then you can add them to the system. They will receive an email letting them know their login credentials to be able to log in. This include in communication button, if it is checked, then any communication that you receive pertaining to your application, like if they send out a notification that the deadline is approaching and your application isn't complete yet, that person, if this box is checked, will also receive that communication. So you can add them to the system that way, or if they're already in the system, then just hit this add button and you'll get a message saying that the collaborator was successfully added. Now, Once you add them as a collaborator, they still do not have access to your application just yet. You have to come down to this second button and hit Assign Section. And this is where you will assign them which portions of the application you want them to complete. You can absolutely give them access to the entire application if you'd like, or if you only want them to have access to certain portions of the application, you can. So let's say I want Mr. Johnson. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go backwards here. That is my fault there. So let's say I want Mr. Johnson to complete the budget portion. I'll just hit save. And now I can see that I've assigned him this budget section. I can see who I have assigned it to. There's no current deadline on this application. Otherwise, the deadline would be inherent from the application. And that person is now assigned the budget section on my application. At any point, you can remove that person from the collaborators on your application. You will still have access to edit any sections that you've added collaborators to. It's not contingent upon them completing it. You can go in and complete those sections on your own. If for whatever, say they log in, they say, okay, this is the information that you need, and they email it to you, you can go in and enter that information yourself, or they can go in and enter that information for you. Once you assign the sections to them, they will receive an email letting them know such and such person has added you as a collaborator to their application. These are the sections that they've given you access to, and here are your login credentials. They will be able to then go to their homepage, and when they log in, they will click on My Collaborations, and they will see what you have asked them to collaborate on. Same thing goes for if someone adds you as a collaborator to an application. You'll get an email letting you know which portions of the application you have been assigned. And when you log in, you'll just click on My Collaborations, and then you can click on the application, and it will show you what you have been assigned for that application. Now, we will go back to our demo. So those are the basic functions of the portal. Like I said, we wanted to do that before we get into the application itself. So you'll notice that some of the sections say that they're at 100%, 0, various stages of completion. I've pre-filled some of this so that I don't take up all of everybody's time. But what will happen is, based on the number of required questions in each section, it will show you the percentage completion that you are at for that section. So my project location is at 80% because I have not selected which counties my project will cover. So I'll just select those counties there. I'll hit save and return to dashboard. And now my project location is at 100%. My certifications and representations are at 0. Now I'm going to affirm those, hit save and return to dashboard. And I am at 100% there as well. If you try to submit your application when all of your sections are not at 100%, it will not allow you to submit your application. You will only be able to submit your application when all of your sections are at 100%. And again, the percent completion is based upon the number of required questions. So if there's an optional question and you haven't answered it, it does not factor into your percent completion. If you try to submit your application when one of your sections is not complete, you will get an error message letting you know to please complete all sections of the application and then resubmit. I will now go to completing my distressed counties. Okay, so I'm in these 3 distressed counties. And I do not have any disadvantaged areas. So I'm going to save and return to dashboard. And now my entire application is at 100%. So now I can hit final review and submit. We're going to continue with your review. So once you submit your application, you will not be able to make any changes to it. So this is why we have a review process. You can look over all of your answers and make sure that everything is the way that you want it to be before you submit. So once you get to this page, you can review the PDF copy of your entire application, make sure everything is what it's supposed to be. If it's not, you can cancel and exit and it will send you back and you will still be able to freely edit. If you are good with where your application is, then you will affirm here and hit submit. You will get this status update message that your application has been submitted. You can click OK. You will also receive an email letting you know that your application has been submitted as well. After that, you'll see that there's no more review and submit button because now you cannot make any changes to this application. You can still preview the application. It will have all of your answers that you've input on that preview. You can download that PDF or print it, whatever you need to do. The next thing that will happen is, of course, staff will review according to that scoring rubric that Chaden mentioned. They'll assign your scores, they'll make the decision about who gets funded. Once you have, once they've made a decision, if your project is funded, of course, there will be some forms that you need to fill out. You'll have to do your grant agreement, fill out your ACH form, have your quarterly reports and all those wonderful things. Once your project has been selected for an award and they send you your documents, those documents will also be in this portal. You will click on the Assigned Forms tab, and every form that has been assigned to you will be visible in on this tab in this portal. In order to complete any of the forms, you will simply click on it. It will open a new tab. The form will be completely online. You will enter your information into the form. You can save it and come back for later, or you can go ahead and just submit it. Once you submit it, your status here will change to submitted, and it will show you the date and time that you submitted it so that you have proof that you actually submitted your form. If you need the second form, because I know for the reimbursement form, you'll fill that out probably multiple times. If you need the form again, you'll simply click on the link again and it will open a fresh form so long as you've already submitted the form prior. If you saved it to come back later, it'll open the previously saved form and you'll have to complete that form and submit it. But if you previously submitted the form and everything was good to go, then you'll just click on the link again. It'll open the form, fresh, blank, empty. You will enter your information and then you will hit submit and all of your information will be there. Any form that you need, we have the award documents, your final report narrative, or any form that you need. There's various forms with various names will be listed here at the moment that you're, well, not at the moment, but after your application has been awarded. DRA staff will assign any form that you could possibly need for your application, and it will be visible here under your assigned forms. And any form for any application that you've been awarded for will be visible here. It won't just be for one of them. So if you've filled out multiple applications, so you applied for street planning and you applied for DWP, all of the forms will be listed here, and then the application that they're associated with will be listed here. So if you may have a budget modification form for strategic planning and then your award documents for DWP, just so nothing is confusing, the name of the application will be here, the name of the form that you need will be here, and then your status will be here. Once you submit it, your status will change over here, and it'll show you the date and time that you have submitted. Any applications that you've started or that you've completed will be under the My Applications tab. So you'll see here, I've submitted the demo application that I just did with you guys. I submitted an application for critical infrastructure. That was a demo as well. And then I have a Delta Doctors thing and FY24 critical infrastructure that are both pending submission. If you need a PDF copy of an application that you've submitted or that is pending submission, you can also download a PDF here as well. You just click on the little PDF icon and it will download a PDF of that application. So for this submitted one, it will download a PDF of all of my answers for those questions as well. If you're pending submission, it will still import your answers, but anything that you have not any questions you haven't completed on that application will be blank. And then it just shows you who owns those forms. So I believe if you're a collaborator, then someone else will be the owner of that form. And that is everything for the new portal. As I said, everything that you need will be in one space. You won't have to go to one portal to apply for this or another portal to apply for this. Everything will be here in one portal. All of your forms will be here. You'll be able to fill everything out in one place virtually. And that is all. Are there? Yes, I can check and see if there's any questions. Okay, will the online portal be a copy and paste fill with character limits within each question box, or is this an upload of complete proposal? No, you will have to type into the actual application. There will be character limits. Those are set by DRA staff. They should be more than ample to explain whatever it is that you are explaining. You won't have to upload anything other than your supporting documentation, like your participation agreements, or your like letters of support, things like that. There will be spaces for you to upload those types of documents. But you won't be uploading a copy of a proposal. I believe some of these other questions on the new portal. After using the forgot password link, I did not receive an email to reset. I did check my junk spam folder, but still nothing. I used the same login email from the previous portal. So if you tried to reset and you didn't receive the link, it depends on which, so if you previously applied for DWP, then your account hasn't been imported just yet. They're working on getting all of those imported by the end of this weekend, but definitely before the Thanksgiving holiday. So once they finish importing those accounts, like I said, we'll send out a notification and then your email reset should work. Okay, prior to the closing of the previous portals, I created an account in the portal to access the 2024 DWP application. So if you started an application for the 2024 DWP app, your incomplete app should come over as pending submission, and you will be able to complete it in the new portal. We will, again, we'll send out a notification, but your incomplete application will come over as pending submission. So you should be able to start from wherever you left off on your application for
Hey,
the
Jasmine,
2024.
just real quick, the 2024 application was never in the old portal. Yeah, it was that was the first DRA grant to go live in nCloud. So there was never an opportunity to apply for the 2024 DWP in the old system.
Got it. Okay. So is the 2023 still open?
No.
Okay. So if the 2023 is still open, then we don't have to worry about any pending submission. So for whoever that was, it need to start the 2024 DWP application, you can go ahead and just start it in the new portal, create your account, and you should be good. Will Jasmine's PowerPoint be available? If you go on the DRA.communityforce.gov and just download that applicant user guide, it has all of the information that I just presented. It has screenshots with everything that you'll need. The buttons are circled, so you can just download that from the DRA.communityforce.com website.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. I am going to answer a few other questions that I saw come across. One of the first questions was about high growth industries. And, you know, just in general, high growth industries are industries that are expected to expand at a faster rate than the overall economy. You may consider factors such as employment growth, demand for specific skills, technology advancement, economic trends, you know, but really, you know, it's what Southern Illinois may need might be completely different than what the Mississippi Delta needs. So it really, you just need to make the case for, you know, that your program is going to benefit industry in your area, you know, and serve our region and serve the population and the participants in the region. And so, you know, that might be healthcare. You know, that might be like Chayton was talking about, that truck driving school, or, you know, any number of industries. It's just, you know, what is in demand in your area? What do employers need to hire? And those employment letters are so important. I mean, you could train 1,000 people, but where are they going to go work? So, you know, those employer partnerships, that evidence that, you know, they're on board with your project and going to hire your trainees, that's just extremely important. So let me scroll down and see what else. What are the hours for virtual TA? So there are no set hours. We just would schedule a meeting on demand. So if you email either myself or Chayton or the workforce@dra.gov email address requesting a meeting, we would be more than happy to set that up with potential applicants individually to go over any questions, you know, clarify or try to, you know, clarify things in the FOA. So really, there's no set TA hours, just email us and we'll set a meeting. Will there be another round of funding for this opportunity? Yeah, this will come around next year as well. You know, I will try to stay consistent with releasing it in September and closing it before the holidays. And then we will award potential projects in April or May of the following year. Also keep in mind, y'all, our workforce opportunity for rural communities, we abbreviate that one WORK, our WORK grant, which is a partnership with the Department of Labor. That grant is coming around and will be open in the spring, hopefully March. So just stay tuned. If you don't receive DRA's press releases and news releases, please go to the website and put your email in to receive those so you can stay in the loop with everything that we've got going on. Another question, are letters of support from local economic development offices, chambers of commerce, legislators encouraged, or will they not matter? So that's a really good question. You know, showing support from, you know, everybody that I just listed is never going to hurt. You know, you might not get extra points if you get, you know, your legislator, a letter from your legislator. But I am not going to discourage letters of support. However, you know, you don't have to necessarily go overboard because you are not getting, you know, points for, you know, extra letters that you might include. But pay close attention to what is required that you attach. So you've got your community partnerships, you've got your employer letters, like I just described, who is going to hire the people that are trained in your program. Those employer letters are required. I think we in the FOA, it says at least one, but again, you know, and sometimes there's only one. Like say you live in a rural area, you're training, healthcare workers, and your only employer is like the local hospital. Well, that's okay because that's a unique situation. But if you, have the opportunity to get, multiple employer support to hire your folks, I think Chayton said the more the better. So let's see. I hope that helps answer that question. And I think Jasmine answered. Let's see. Okay. Is the portal live now to submit pay requests? No, the portal is, they're in the middle of the data migration, and here very soon, we have, I'm sure, current grantees on this. You will get an email. Jasmine, correct me if I'm wrong, but you will get an email from the team saying, hey, we're ready for you. So go in.
Yes, they will.
Okay, enter your email and then click forgot password so that you can reset it. So what we're really just waiting on, y'all, is the data migration to happen, everything, to be validated, and then those emails will go out and you can go in and, you can apply for the 2024 now. That has been open since September 21st. However, 2020, 2021, and 2023 grantees that are needing to submit reports in the portal will not be able to do so until they get that email. Let's see. I have a question related to the FOA. Is there a max amount that could be requested for renovations? The FOA does not give a cap, so I'm going to say no. There is no maximum. One thing that differs, y'all, from the 2023 and 2024, though, we did have a cap last year for participant support services that was capped at 30% of the total budget. We removed that arbitrary cap this year. So you will see that there is no cap for participant support services any longer. Let's see. I own 2 separate businesses, Entrepreneurial Resource Center, faith-based organization. So the first one was a for-profit, the second one's nonprofit. Can I include both businesses as a cooperative organization? So yes, but the applicant, the main applicant cannot be a for-profit entity. It must be a nonprofit. And if you refer to the FOA, under eligible applicants, you will see a pretty exhaustive list of eligible applicants that can apply. But if you have a question, just email us. Let's see. Can the sole employer be our own organization? You may need to email me on that one, but I'm going to say no to that, but you may want to email me and let's talk about that. You may have a unique situation that I'm not able to talk about with the question. Can you submit for 2 different programs? Let's see. Yeah, so we do have another round coming again next year. We've got the work grant coming this spring. So only one applicant can submit for one program. And I hope that clears that up. But if you need to email me and let's talk that through, we can. And I think, y'all, that is the end of the questions that I see in the Q&A. If anybody has anything burning, please feel free to put that in before we adjourn. But I just want to thank our speakers today, Mr. Chayton Penley and Jasmine Bell, for delivering the presentations. And again, we will have this recording posted to our website and the slides, so you can refer back to those or forward that to somebody that you know that may have missed this live presentation today. And I do not see anything else coming into the Q&A, but it's just important for everybody to know that we are here for you. If you want to meet, if you have specific questions, if you have some burning questions that we just really weren't able to answer here, just reach out to us anytime. We are happy to help. The goal is to get money out into the region to improve our communities, our counties and parishes. And so, that's what we're aiming to do with these grants, to transform the lives of those that live in our region. So thank y'all so much for logging in today. We really appreciate your participation, and we look forward to seeing some wonderful applications that will be due at 11:59 Central Time on PM on December 21st is the deadline. So thanks everybody so much, and we'll see you soon.